All right. Hello, everyone. Have you ever wondered what it's like to live with schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder? Well, with us today is an amazing woman, Bethany Boik. She is so courageous and so talented. She wrote a book about her experience with schizophrenia that was diagnosed at age 13. Bethany bears it all in her best-selling book, Diary of a Schizophrenic, published by Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and I helped Bethany find the courage to actually write the book, and I had the honor and pleasure of editing it and publishing it. So welcome, Bethany.
Hi, Elizabeth. I'm so happy to be here. It's such an honor and a privilege. I've had an amazing time working with you, and I look up to you. You're my mentor now, and I appreciate all of the help that I had with my book and getting it out there, and you're amazing. So thank
Yes,
you.
yes. So, Bethany, I'm so proud of you. I don't even have words. I met you a long time ago. Maybe it was 2015.
Yes.
That's like 8 years ago when I was working at Team Wellness Center in Detroit, and you were in my journaling class, and you shared your amazing poetry. And I got to know you and just encouraged you. I saw such tremendous talent, and you've gone on to get your college degree
Yeah.
and just become an advocate for mental wellness and using your pain as power to help people. And the book is the absolute epitome of that. So, Bethany, can you talk about why you decided to share such a graphic journey with us in your book?
I started writing a diary at age 13, and it was because I had these symptoms and these problems that I was dealing with, and I had no other way, no other outlet to get the pain out. And so writing for me was everything. It was life-saving, to be honest with you. And I kind of realized I had an aha moment actually. So this is kind of interesting. So I was 13, and it started off with depression, insomnia, and anxiety. And I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, I was having really intense mania, and I was having problems, crashing with the depression. And I needed a way to get this out. And I realized that what I was experiencing was going to be with me forever. And I had never met a therapist or a doctor or anyone. I didn't have a lot of mental health education. I didn't really know much, but something just hit me in the middle of the night. And I wasn't sleeping. I was up, I was awake, and I was 13. And I just kind of got this feeling like, this is going to be with me forever. How am I going to cope? And I knew that my diary was going to help me. And I said to myself, one day I'm going to publish a book. I'm going to publish a book. I'm going to tell my story, and I'm going to show the world that this is how mental illness starts, and this is what it happened. This is what happens to people.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's kind of what happened. It was a very surreal experience. And
Hmm.
I knew in my mind I had this this gift, this writing gift. I've always loved writing, and it just really, really helped me and helped me to survive, actually.
Hmm. Hmm. So, your book, Diary of a Schizophrenic, was the #1 new release on Amazon in the schizophrenia category. So everybody, please, her book is so phenomenal. It's the journal entries that were written in real time at age 13 and beyond, because now you're in your 30s, right, Bethany?
Yes, yes. I've
Yeah.
been keeping journals for the entire time. And I
Hmm.
used part of these journals, and I used some like poetry, these different poems and short stories and different things, and I kind of collected everything and I put them in this book. And I use my book, and I basically it's raw emotions. It's everything that I went through from 13 to 31 in a little captured moments in time.
Mm-hmm, hmm.
And Elizabeth, can I read? Would it be okay for me to read a passage?
Oh, please, yes.
Okay. So I'm going to share with you a poem, and it's a very um it's a very poem that like it goes to my heart. It's called I'm Not a Schizophrenic. And you're gonna
Mhm.
say, what? Your book is called Diary of a Schizophrenic. You have schizophrenia. Why would you say that? Well,
Uh-huh.
the purpose of this poem is to show people that the word schizophrenic has so many negative connotations with it. And that, people with any mental illness should never be called their diagnosis, because we are not our diagnosis. We are human beings. We are people with feelings, and we just want to get across that we're not different than anyone else. We are human, and we just need love and attention and happiness. And that's what everyone wants in life. So this is my beginning of my book poem. It's the first poem in my book, and it shares with you exactly what it means to feel like you are being kind of put in a different category as other people, and not given the same opportunities and the same things because you have a diagnosis, or you may look or appear like you have a certain, diagnosis and things. So this is called I'm Not a Schizophrenic. I'm not a schizophrenic, so please don't call me one. I'm a person who lives with schizophrenia, a person who is accustomed to living with an invisible disease that no one sees till I'm out there falling on my knees. It's hard when your brain is cracked to pieces and all your thoughts are swirling around. No one sees you till it's too late and your brain is scrambled half to death. I'm trying to give you a picture of a hell on earth diagnosis, a cracked and damaged brain looking to kill me like a shark in the ocean eating its prey. Yes, I pray to God, who talks to me on occasion like the man on the street corner. I just want solitude. The only difference between me and the guy on the corner of the block who talks to himself is I have access to medication, a shelter, and I take all 7 of my psychotropic medications on the daily. Because guess what? If I didn't, I'd be dead with nothing left in my head. But that's where my thoughts get gritty and my illness sinks its teeth in. It wants me to give in. It haunts me and paralyzes me with fear. Some days I can't leave the house because it feels like people are watching me, and I can't leave my own room. Under my covers is the only place I feel safe. Sleep is the only rest I get. I feel anxious every minute I'm awake, and I'm ready to explode from the inside out. This pressure is so bad and tight. My chest tightens for days and days and days and days and days. I can't breathe properly. I suffocate with fear. So what do I do when the monsters are near? I'm not a schizophrenic, so please don't call me one. I'm a person with feelings, so get that right before you say it wrong.
Oh my gosh, Bethany, I just chills the whole time. You are so talented. Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you. Thank you.
So wow, that's super powerful. So, this is all part of you using your life experience as an advocate to help other people by first showing that success is possible after a devastating diagnosis and years of struggle because you've been through many doctors, many treatment centers, many medications, and it's been chaotic at times and extremely difficult for you.
Mhm.
But you got your college degree.
Yes.
You work as an advocate on many, not work, but like you are an advocate representing the cause in many ways. And you create art that can inspire and shatter the stigma around mental illness. So, talk about, Bethany, how this is just a mission greater than yourself.
Yes. I I went into the mental health field. I got a behavioral science degree, and I realized it was literally a mission to help other people that were going through similar experiences. And after writing my book, I realized it was even greater than what I was doing in the community. And I realized I had to be a voice of change and I had to give a face to this devastating illness.
Mhm.
And in on the book cover, I just want to show you it's it's my face, but there's a index card right here and it's covering my eyes and part of my face. And it shows the the ability of like anonymity, being anonymous, like a person that, anyone could live with this and you could never even know. And it's so saddening. And there's so many people and so many like systems in our country, like the mental health system is very broken. And it's very hard to get treatment at times. I have been on over 35 different medications in order to get the right combination I have today. I have to take 7 psychotropic medications, which are, medications to get me going, to get me to live. If I did not have my medication, I would not be here because my medication and also my therapy helps me cope and helps me to survive. I live with voices every single day. I hear voices in my head. I hallucinate. I have delusions, but I have to go up against these things. And the medications, they kind of decrease the volume of everything I have to live through. And I want people to know that hope is real and that even if you are struggling, even if you are suicidal every single day for a year and a half, because that's what I had been through. I was suicidal every single day for a year and a half straight. And the only thing that kept me going was my writing and having, 2 friends, 3 friends that, really helped me. But I, I want people to know that, you know, even in the most desperate of times, you can get help, you can heal. And it's going to be hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be some of the hardest things you ever have to do in your life, but there's this possibility of hope. And it's that tomorrow anything can happen. In a second, anything can change. Your life could change drastically in 1 second. And that 1 second could be the best day of your life.
Ooh, chills.
Yeah.
Bethany, that is so, so powerful. Wow. The power of writing to save your life is so profound. And writing, journaling, it's your best friend, it's your therapist, it's your
Yeah.
mirror, it's your life life raft.
Yeah.
It's powerful. As somebody who's journaled my whole life and has coped with lots of difficult things, none like yours, but writing has saved me in those moments. So, everybody, if you haven't started journaling, please do. It's the most magical gift you can give to yourself. And Bethany's here to testify it saved her life
Yes.
over 18 months. That can hardly wrap my mind around that.
Yeah.
So Bethany, that was a life-saving tool, and now you have surrounded yourself with what you call your found family.
Yes.
But I want to go back to when you were 13 and struggling,
Mhm.
your lack of support in the family situation that you had. Can you describe it?
Yes. So my family situation was very kind of difficult at the time. My father was in prison, but I didn't know where he was. For about 3 years, I had no idea where his location was. He was homeless most of my life and, in and out of jail and prison, well, jail at the time, and rehabs and different shelters and places. And, it was the first time he got sent to prison, but no one had informed me. No one had told me. So I thought he might be dead. I mean, no visits, no phone calls, no anything for 3 years and not, literally just having nothing. So I found out, one day that he was in prison in a very interesting way. This woman called me one day and called my grandma's house actually, and I picked up the phone and her name was Leona, and she said, how's your dad doing? I haven't gotten any letters from him lately. And I'm thinking, who are you? Like, how do you know like me? And she's like, oh, you're Bethany. I'm like, hello, who is this? And then she's like, I'm Leona. She's like, I got this phone number from your dad a long time ago, in case of an emergency. And
Mhm.
I was like, what? And so I was very, it was it was scary. And then she's like, do you know where your dad is? And I'm like, I have no idea. Do you? And she's like, oh, honey, you don't know he's in prison. So,
Wow.
I was completely shocked. I was sad that he hadn't reached out to me or told me, and none of my extended family told me if they knew. Um, it was really hard. And so I finally got his, the information to send him letters, and I started writing to him, and it was very difficult at time. I told him how upset I was, and it was very, very, very sad.
How
So
old were you?
I was 13.
Oh, okay. And then Bethany, where was your mom?
My mom was living with her boyfriend at the time, and I was mostly staying with my grandma and some of my friends, and it was just kind of chaotic. There was a lot of just chaos, there was a lot of addiction in my family. Pretty much almost everyone was an addict except my grandma. And had addiction issues, alcoholism, stuff like that. And it was hard because I had insecure attachments with all of my caregivers except my grandma. And
Mhm.
meaning like I couldn't, it wasn't that I couldn't trust them. It was more like I wanted love so much. And then when I didn't get it, I'd retract and I would just keep going back, and I wouldn't get the things that I needed
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
or I felt I needed at the time. And
Mhm.
so I I had a lot of pain, and I felt like, my other caregiver, loved their boyfriend more than me.
Mhm.
And it was very hard because I didn't love myself, and I didn't feel like anyone, besides my grandma loved me. And my dad would tell me when I was a kid growing up, he would visit me and he'd be like, "Oh, Bethany, we're gonna go on a boat one day and we're gonna sail and go away." And then he would leave, and it would be very sad because I'd be like, "Well, does he love me or not?" And so I had this hole in my heart, in my chest, that I felt like, who cares about me? Do I matter? You know?
Mhm.
Does anyone care? Am I worthy of love?
Mhm.
And so I think that propelled a lot of the mental illness.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of generational trauma, through the
Mhm.
years, looking back at my family history.
Mhm.
And, I felt like, yeah, there's this neglected part of you when you have this insecurity of, does your closest people, your caregivers, your primary caregivers, your mom and your dad, do they love you? Do they care about you?
Mhm.
And I mean, in certain ways I knew they cared, but in other ways it was very insecure.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
when I got depressed and I started showing symptoms of depression, and, I was having a hard time eating, and I was having a hard time sleeping, and just kind of going through that really rough patch, I tried to reach out, and, my mom really didn't want me to get help. And it wasn't until the school, I had an incident at school. I was a perfectionist and I wanted to be perfect in every way. And when I almost failed a science test, I got like a 73 or something. And something in my head said, bash your head against this lab table out of nowhere. And I did. I started bashing my head against this lab desk in my science class. And lab desks are very thick, they're very hard, the material is very dense. And I did it over and over and over, and I was sobbing and shaking. And the teacher came up to me and he was like, "You're just so dramatic. What's wrong with you?" And he's like, "Now I have to call the office." And he's like, "You better stop." And everyone in the class started laughing at me because they just thought I was being dramatic. And I didn't know what was going on in my head. I didn't know, I had no idea. And so I ended up being wheeled down to the guidance office in a wheelchair and getting to the office. And I'm sitting in this wheelchair. I have this knot growing on my head. And then my mom's called and they're basically saying, if you don't get her to a psychiatrist and be evaluated for mental illness, then, she can't come back to school and we're going to call CPS.
Oh, wow.
So it was that or nothing. So that's how I got help.
Oh, you got a psychiatric evaluation
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
medications and
Yes.
treatments?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but my
Wow,
mom
Bethany.
still didn't, believe that, anything was wrong at that point. So it was a hard struggle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you, even as a teenager, young teenager, you had to advocate for yourself when medications or treatments weren't working, or when some of the healthcare workers in the treatment centers were super mean to
Yeah.
you. Can you talk about the importance that can help other people advocate for themselves and not feel like a pest or, just pushy or whatever might stop them so that they put themselves first?
Yes. So the big thing that I experienced was certain medication side effects and talking to doctors about not wanting to be on the medication anymore, but maybe try something else. And what I felt that I had to do in order to sometimes get my point across and do this was to say, this is what's affecting me, and I can't enjoy my life when these side effects are happening. And just be open and honest to the doctor. And if you can't get the things that you need, please, please, please do not give up. Go to another doctor, go to a different therapist. I'm going to tell you something. Therapists do not always work with you and your personality or your character. Okay. And they don't always represent the things that you need. Sometimes you have to change therapists 3, 4, 5 times. And that's going to sound like a lot of work. And I know it is, but I'm going to tell you it is absolutely worth it because you are worthy. Every single person is worthy of getting the help they need and they deserve. And if you are not getting the treatment that you need, I wish you to just keep going. Okay. I know it's going to be so hard, but like I just said, you are worth it. You are worthy. And everybody deserves love. Everybody, we should all love ourselves because you are a worthy and cared about person. I care about you. I may not know you, but I'm going to tell you that I care about everyone because we are all part of the same group of, species. We're human beings. And, if we need help, if we need to get services in any medical that, practice, we have to be advocating and tell ourselves that we can do anything we set our mind to. We just have to keep going. And
Hmm.
I wish everyone to just keep going.
Hmm. Bethany, I love that. You practice what you preach. So talk about how you have kept going despite many challenges that could have crushed you and the successes that you enjoy in your life right now.
Yeah. So I I feel like there's a lot of points in my life where I did try to give up. And I did attempt suicide a few times. And it's I think back to those moments and I'm like, I my life is precious. And it's an honor that I'm alive and it's a privilege I'm still here. Um, I think that being alive is the greatest gift we have. Um, and I didn't know. I really didn't know. I was too young to understand how precious life was. I think a lot of kids and young adults and teenagers don't understand that because when you're young, you can't grasp the concept that, we have tomorrows, that there is possibility. And I just, I want people to know that there is, there's this gift. So I survived, I lived through very different, difficult circumstances, with my voices, telling me to kill myself over and over and over. For a year and a half, I hallucinated. Like I heard my voices tell me to kill myself in different ways. And then I would visually see myself killing myself in different ways all day long. And in order to get through that, because I knew I was never going to attempt a suicide again after that, I decided that writing was going to help me, but also I learned that, our life is just breathing, just getting up and breathing is a gift, and that I was going to get through this someday, somehow. And I didn't know how I was going to, but I just kept going. And there's this possibility, and it's really what I was talking about before. And it's like, there's this, it's, my schizophrenia was a gift. And I didn't realize that until I got older. And it's a double-ended sword. It hurt me very much, but it taught me to appreciate life. And I didn't appreciate life as much as I should have. And I finally know now that I have so many talents. And I would never say that. I would never take pride in myself before. But schizophrenia gave me the talent of writing. It gave me the talent of art. And I got to do so many things with that. And I've done conferences. I've told my story at, national conferences and different like various places. And I've got to connect with people and I've got to do all of these great opportunities with, the National Alliance of Mental Illness, NAMI. I've got to do things with Stanford's PEPNet program for early psychosis intervention. And I'm so amazed at the ability to connect with others. And when a kid comes up to me and tells me, "Hey, I read your book," it really helped me. That is the greatest thing that I could possibly get from anything in this world. Money doesn't
Wow.
matter, fame doesn't matter, none of that matters. It's about getting people and connecting with them and learning that, hey, it helped me. I want to help people. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. And
Mm,
if I, had this illness that, you can't, I don't believe things happen for a reason, but I believe that you can take pain and use it to your advantage. And I use pain now to help other people know that they are not alone in their struggle and that sometimes pain gives you things that you never thought you would, have, so like the art, like, the writing, like I just said, and that's kind of where I'm at now. I've learned my gifts. I've realized that I've gained gifts from this.
hmm Beautiful, Bethany. I am so proud of you. I know that you've only just begun because your advocacy work, I mean, just in the past few months, you've spoken at Stanford and other places. And anybody, if you'd like to invite Bethany to speak, which she's available over Zoom to do, um, you can go to twosisterswriting.com and there's a page for Bethany and her book. You can order her book there and you can also invite her to speak. So you can also, yes, oh my gosh, please read this book and please share it with anybody you know and share this video with anybody you know who might be struggling with schizophrenia or who wants to learn. Mental health is one of the most important topics of our day today. And I actually interviewed Bethany first on My Healthy Mind, which is the TV show nominated for 2 Emmys on multiple networks across Michigan every Sunday for the past 8 years, going on 9. And Bethany's interview on My Healthy Mind has had more than 100,000 views on YouTube, which is remarkable because this was years ago, Bethany, that you talked, and you've only gotten better and more mature and more focused on your mission and more involved in advocacy to help others, not to mention your talent with your videos. And your poetry have just grown exponentially. So, Bethany, where else can people follow you and learn more about you and contact you?
I am on Facebook. You can message me personally at Bethany Boik, Bethany, Boik, Boik. I am on TikTok at Bethany Boik, and I'm on Instagram at Bethany Boik.
Excellent, excellent. Everybody, please follow her for daily doses of inspiration and education. And please share this interview with anybody who wants to learn more about mental health. Bethany is an absolute superstar. And I am so excited, Bethany, to watch you grow and continue to do amazing things.
I appreciate you, Elizabeth. It's like I said, it's an honor. I care about you so much, and I writing and working with you is an incredible experience. Thank you.
You're so welcome. I don't have words to express my gratitude, Bethany. This is just such a joy. All right. Well, Bethany Boik, best-selling author of Diary of a Schizophrenic, thank you for joining me here on Book Talks to talk about your amazing book and all the amazing things that you are doing and have done in your life. You are a true survivor and you are an absolute superstar in my eyes. So I wish you the best.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
You're welcome. And thank you, all of you, for watching today. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, the proud publisher of Bethany Boik's book. Get my speaking together here. Two Sisters Writing and Publishing is the proud publisher of Bethany Boik's book, Diary of a Schizophrenic, available at twosisterswriting.com, as well as on all the platforms where you purchase books online. Her ebook is available at barnesandnoble.com and amazon.com as well. And the paperback is available on our website. So I wish you happy reading. Please visit twosisterswriting.com and have the best day. Thanks for joining us today. Bye bye and happy writing, happy
Bye.
reading.